Picks up a couple. Will be short of the first down. So it'll be an important 3rd and 3. With 8:34 and counting in the second quarter of action. Al Sicard along with Dan Roy. We'd like to thank our in-game sponsors, Shaw's, Crapo Motors, Legal Clinics of Maine, Auto World, Kellyman Pub and Family Restaurant. Big 3rd down play. 3rd and about 3. Landry going inside to Toth, and he does it all by himself again, picking up the first down. He just eats up these defenders, stopped, hit a couple times, and just fights for that first down. Well, they're marking it short. He'll be about a yard short.
Yeah, he's coming up just about a yard short, but again, these counter plays and trap plays that Sanford seems to be running are working very well against these Thornton defensive linemen. I'm not sure if maybe Coach Cody was expecting this type of running game from Sanford, knowing the potential Landry has to put the ball in the air, but his defense has got to react better than that.
And they're going for it. Landry goes to the man who got him this far, Paul Toth. No, excuse me, that's Jeff Dupree, who digs it out. And you can tell these Sanford running backs train well. When they're hit, they keep those legs pumping, and that time Dupree hit at the line of scrimmage by Jay Dow and company and just kept those legs pumping and picked up the first.
Well, we saw what that could do to a team last week when York showed us Tony Annie and some of their other running backs who more or less took 2 and 3 tacklers to bring them down, and now Sanford running backs coming through with the same type of deal. So
Sanford threatening on the Thornton 20, going inside to Steve Hall. Slants off tackle to the left for about 6 yards. Be 2nd and 4. And Landry not having to go up the air. The running game is working fine at this point.
Well, the fact that he is a threat also to run, when you run these misdirection plays, Thornton linebackers have got to key on the quarterback, as well as not just follow the ball to the point where a fake handoff, they've got to jump on the running back. The quarterback is a threat.
Oh, fumble, and it's loose underneath, and this will be, they'll have to pile them out. The Thornton defenders are pointing, they've got the ball, but they'll unpile them. Little trouble on the handoff that time, and Sanford with a lucky break will keep the ball. Roger LaRue, the big tackle, the right place at the right time, and the Sanford team holding their breath for a minute. Landry having some problems getting the handoff and couldn't find the handle, squibbed underneath, but Roger LaRue right there for the recovery.
Would have really been too bad to see Sanford make a turnover at that point, Al. They're so close. They've just moved the ball close to 60 yards as far as getting towards the end zone. A fumble there would have really damaged the spirits.
And the Thornton defense, known for bending but not breaking, see if they can mount stand here. Paul Toth going right. Huey Connor misses him and pushed out of bounds by Dennis Toomey. So that time, Paul Toth out challenging Connor in the secondary. Connor missed the tackle, and Toomey there to save the touchdown. But that's enough for first down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 5.
I see Thornton's defensive ends again getting trapped inside, Al. It's their job to make sure that they turn everything inside the field. That time, Toth got a chance to get around the defensive end who obviously gone in for the fake. Next thing you know, you get these guys coming down around getting 8 and 10 yards at a crack.
Okay, Thornton with their goal line stance defense in now. The handoff is to Jeff Dupree, who picks up a couple. They've got 4 downs to work with down here. And the Thornton defense, they've got their heavyweights in there now. Anderson, Levesque, and Redmond and company. Millard,
Al Stone as well. Thornton with definitely in their goal line stance. Like you said, they're willing to bend but not break.
2nd and goal from the 4. Landry inside to Dupree. He tries to jump over and squirms ahead for a couple. Jay Dow, Al Stone, Eric Peterson, and Joel Levesque all in on the tackle. Getting closer though. They gave him they gave Dupree the momentum gained on that jump, and is spotted at about the 2-yard line. So 3rd and 2, 3rd and goal from the 2. Landry keeps it, going off his left tackle. It's going to be close. Appears that he is a little short. No, about a foot short. So what do you do if you're Coach Conley here, Dan? You try for the field goal, or you try to punch the 6 points in?
Well, you definitely try to punch 6 in now at this point. I don't think you should go for the field goal. First of all, even if you don't get it, you're only 6 inches short. Even if you don't get it, you've got Thornton in quite a hole. And I can't see where the Sanford offensive line has been pushing Thornton Academy back for these short 2-yard bursts and whatnot. If I was Coach Conley, I'd just let Landry keep it just like he did that time.
I was just going to say that. Landry has kept it before, and he's going over his left guard for a touchdown. So that time, it works. Going over the block of Big 66, Tim Payer, and also Jerry Camere on that left side. Drive that time, definitely showing the Sanford offensive skill. And Greg Howell trying for the extra point, and it's going to be wide. So a very important miss here with 4:06 remaining in the half. Thornton Academy retains their lead. They're leading the Sanford Redskins 7-6. We'll be back with more high school football action after this commercial message.
When you're hungry for a salad, make your own at Shaw's Super Salad Bar. Help yourself to over 30 icy cool favorites. Tender, fresh greens, sweet, juicy fruits, bright, colorful vegetables, golden chunks of cheese, all bedded down on ice to keep it cool and crispy. A freshness you won't find anywhere else. Shaw's, where salad lovers are someone special every day.
Most people think that lawyers talk too much and cost too much. At Legal Services in Maine, we're different. We designed our law practice for those who can't afford a high-priced law firm, yet still need a good, caring legal representative. Legal Services in Maine is a private law firm ready to advise you at a very reasonable cost. We can handle an uncontested divorce for as little as $200. So whether you've been sued, hurt in an accident, or simply need advice, Legal Services in Maine can help. We care, and we will fight for you.
By Sanford, putting 6 points on the board. That, Dan, shows that they can control the ball.
Well, they just moved the ball 55 yards in 12 plays. A sustained drive. They didn't turn the ball over. They had that one fumble down around the 14-yard line, which was recovered by their own man, Roger LaRue. That was the only time that they really came close to losing the ball. Very sustained, executed well. They didn't make very many mistakes. Good drive by Sanford's part. Gives them a little confidence.
Jeff Dupree with the boot. It's a low squibber. Going to be picked up by Jameson on his own 28. Oh, runs into his own man. And a good open field tackle by Mike Rondon. So Thornton will have the ball on their own 33-yard line. You see Jameson getting the ball. You hope that he's got a little room to go, but running into his own man, that hurts.
Well, plus one thing that's a concern for Thornton Academy is they know that Sanford's going out after Dave Jameson. Davidson being the big threat for Thornton offense. You don't want to see him get hurt.
Okay, Cody pitching out to Roberge. Roberge showed some good open field running in the Chevrolet game, but some good pursuit that time by Brian Wheeler and also Steve Hall on the tackle. So a pickup of about 2. It'll be second and about 9. We'll give him 1 on that carry.
Close enough. 1 or 2, Al.
Roberge not being able to make the corner that time around.
Thornton's got Thornton offensive line has a big test in front of him with Pete Calamares up there. He looks like he goes a good strong 250, along with Dana Rancourt, who's been going both ways. A tough kid.
Pitch to Jameson, who bakes the corner, breaks a few tackles, and gets gang tackled over that far end of the field. Jameson picking up about 3, and doing it all himself. That time forcing Carl Leach to come up from the secondary with some help from Rich Landry. I mean, you don't want your secondary men to be making the tackles on Dave Jameson.
No, for sure. Plus, it's kind of surprising to see Rich Landry out there, who's playing defensive safety. True, he's a fine athlete and more than able to cover that position, but usually Sanford seems to have a pretty good-sized squad. You try to take your quarterback out of your defensive segment like that, you know, not giving him a chance to get hurt again. You're playing defense, you're out there hitting, and there's no telling what's going to happen. So that's kind of questionable strategy, I think, on Coach Conley's part.
Jameson in motion to the right, and the handoff is to Roberge, and he's going to get stacked up. That time, good penetration by the Sanford line, and number 87, Jeff Kent, on the stop. 67, rather, I believe. Dana Rancourt on the stop, so Roberge not getting any room to move so far.
No, not on that play. Sanford defensive line starting to come alive a little bit. It seems like the sun's breaking through the clouds. It's half and half cloudy day today, and just, we're working into the second quarter now. Both teams a little more relaxed in what their situation and what's needed to be done out on the field. That's why I feel that, moving on later in the game, we'll see the team that keeps their poise and that can execute, keeps their heads in the game, should come out on top in this contest.
And Bob Cody calling a timeout, fourth down here, punting situation. So, as usually happens, a good offensive series and a score by Sanford boosting the defensive squad here. And they'll be getting the ball back with 2:08 remaining in the second quarter.
And if the defense comes through and holds like they just did, it usually gives the offense a little bit of spark at the same time. They say, hey, look, these guys are out there fighting too. Now let's do our job and put some points on the board.
Jameson backing up to his own 24-yard line. Low snap and a good rush. He gets it up. It's high. Fair catch called. And Sanford will have it in their own 41-yard line that time. Paul Taw picking it up, calling for the fair catch. So the Redskins will have just over 2 minutes to see if they can get another drive going. Good field position. And we'll see if that momentum carries for Sanford.
Technically, at this point, Sanford had a good drive last time, but they ate up a lot of the clock. With only 2 minutes left to go in a half, we could be looking for Landry to put the ball up over the middle.
And usually happens, the running game will open up your passing game, and we'll see Toth in the slot to the left, and that's what's happening. Over to the, David Bernia. He saw a goal line on that one, and just missed the interception.
That could have been high step into the end zone, see you later, add him up, because David Bernia had nobody in front of him. Landry, I'm surprised he really threw that pass so soft. That screen pass going out to the far side has got to have a little zip on it. Just for that reason, you've got the defensive backs and your outside linebackers covering that flat so well that you've got to put a little muscle on that pass.
And Greg Hall over there still on that left side. Landry with a handoff to Toth. It cuts up back up the middle. Yes. And good tackle by Dennis Toomey, kind of a cross body block to bring him down. And he'll pick up about 14, 15 on that play. So, and enough for the first down. But they're bringing it back. I didn't catch the flag, but yeah.
I can't see what the call will be. I see the flag. Looks like it might have been in the backfield. Could have been motion from one of the Sanford backs.
So a break for Thornton that time, negating that fine run by Toth.
Big one.
Yeah, it's going to be a 15-yarder. Holding against the offensive line. So that hurts. With 1:51 remaining in the first half. Pushes Sanford all the way back to their own 25. So instead of being in Thornton territory, they're all the way back to their own 25.
Instead of 1st and 10 on Thornton's 45, now they've got 2nd and almost 25 on their own 25. So this, again, presents a different scheme of things for quarterback Landry.
He's going to keep it on the ground, this time with Jeff Dupree. It breaks it, and he's going to outrun Huey Connor, the only man that can catch him, and he's not going to do it. Not going to do it. A 75-yard run from scrimmage. And who would have thought that? After running into a crowd, everyone, including us, thought he was down. And Jeff Dupree bringing it right in for the TD.
Unbelievable, Al. What a superb run by Jeff Dupree. Like you said, I thought he was down. I put my head down to start making a mark on a statistic, and the next thing I know, I hear you screaming, there he goes, and I look up, and there he is in the Thornton defensive backfield with nobody near him. I mean, I'd have to tell you, where were the safeties and where were the defensive backs? Either they must have gone in for the fake or whatnot.
Everyone was crunched in close, and that gave Dupree, once he punched through that initial line, kept his legs moving, that gave him open field.
Sanford runners, once they get into open field, they can move a little bit, but they seem a lot more efficient as far as running with the ball inside the tight area. They can knife through, they can bounce off blockers, and they don't go down easily.
And they don't stop their legs. That's what's impressing me about these Sanford runners. They keep them pumping, and that's what's giving them the extra yardage and a touchdown here with only 1:18 remaining in the second quarter. That's definitely got to demoralize this Thornton squad going into halftime.
You never want to see anything like that happen as far just before the half. It puts the Thornton team down as far as going into half and coming back. Sanford will be sky high, obviously. They're going to go into the locker room really fired up, and they're going to come back out the same way.
And Coach Conley calling for the 2 points. They missed the early field goal, so Landry with Steve Hall as his only setback. Now we have motion by Dan Ford, and I think we've got motion by Thornton. Rick Redmond jumping offside, so that'll move it up even closer. Half the distance to the goal, so we'll see if Landry wants to keep it. Now Jeff Dupree coming in, a man who scored the touchdown, bringing in the play, replacing Paul Toff. So we'll see what happens. 12-7 rather, trying to make it 14 here. Sanford lead. We'll get it straight. They missed the early extra point, going for 2. Dupree bringing it in, 4-2. So it's now 14-7, Sanford lead, and this Redskin team is sky high now. That after a slow start, giving up a quick 7 points on the interception early in the first quarter, definitely turned things around now.
A slow start for both teams, Al, and with really Sanford showing only that one drive. They ran about 12 plays to go 55 yards for the score. Actually, other than that, it's been just 2 big plays. That run right there by Dupree, 75 yards, and the pass interception by Stabinski for Thornton's touchdown. So 2 big plays and a half. Nobody really sustaining any offense except for that one drive by Sanford.
Thornton Academy like to put a drive together themselves with minute 18 remaining. We'll see if Dupree gives them a chance to run it out, or if he'll be happy to squib it. Last time, Dave Jamieson taking the short kick and running into his own man. A good kickoff return definitely necessary here for Thornton to get some good field position before going into the locker rooms for halftime. Dupree gets the kick away. It's low, and Roberge misses the bounce. Picked up by Connor, but red jerseys all around. He's going to be down on his own 13-yard line, and that's good for Sanford, but not what Thornton wanted to see.
They've got a long ways to go before they score before this half right now. The ball's on their own 15-yard line with a little over a minute to move. Maybe we'll see Chuck Cody put the ball in the air. He's only thrown 2 passes today, and he's completed one of them, so maybe we'll see if he can cover a little bit of territory.
And the passes he has completed have been to the backs, swinging out of the backfield. We'll see if he tries his wide receivers. We got Bernier split to the right. Jamieson in motion. The pitch is back to Roberge, and he is decked. Fine penetration by Brian Wheeler, who just rolled off the block and was there just as soon as Roberge, and they've been giving Roberge no help at all trying to make those corners.
The Thornton runners have had a hard time going outside. They've got good pursuit from the outside linebackers for Sanford. Jeff Kent been in on a few of those. As you just mentioned, Brian Wheeler, who had a big game last week. I believe it was his first game that he started last week, first varsity game, and he was responsible for 3 quarterback sacks. So, I mean, they're impressed with what they see with the Wheeler boy, too.
2nd and 15. Cody keeping it on the ground to Roberge, and he's earning everything today. Stopped that time by Wheeler again. This Sanford defense is sky high, and Thornton is content to let the clock run out, and that's halftime. The score at half is the Sanford Redskins 14, Thornton Academy Trojans 7. We'll be back with the halftime show after these commercial messages.
Remember your loved ones in a very special way at H.J. Nielsen Florist in Saco. H.J. Nielsen Florist is Saco and Biddeford's oldest floral business, located at 266 Main Street in Saco. How about a beautiful arrangement of colorful fresh flowers to say, I love you. You're very special to me. All arrangements of quality fresh flowers are carefully and professionally designed to express your love. Whether your loved ones live locally or out of town, H.J. Nielsen Florist in Saco will arrange for delivery. H.J. Nielsen Florist is a member FTD and Teleflora. To place an order, simply call 284-5891, 284-5891, or visit them next to the men's shop, H.J. Nielsen Florist in Saco. Open weekdays 7:30 to 5, Saturdays 8:30 to 12:30. H.J. Nielsen Florist.
I have always dreamed of being a model. Gibson Girls School of Modeling has made my dream a reality. The course taught me makeup for all occasions, hairstyling, fashion sense, TV, and photo posing skills.
And one of the best things about attending Gibson Girl is studying with Ruth Gibson.
Modeling requires hard work and determination. When you start at the Gibson Girls School and graduate from Maine Modeling and Talent Agency, you could be working as a professional model in no time. Call 772-2638.
It's halftime at Cobb Stadium. Sanford leading Thornton Academy 14-7. The halftime show was brought to you by Menard's Oil Burner Service, located on Granite Street Extension in Biddeford. That cold weather is coming. Have you have your furnace cleaned and checked lately? Al Sicard along with Dan Roy. We have a lot of statistics to go over. Why don't we first start with Sanford, who had one sustained drive and then a 75-yard scoring run by Jeff Dupree late in the game, late in the half, to give them that 14-7 lead.
Yeah, well, with a minute and 18 left to go in the half, Dupree seemed to break free from the line of scrimmage. It looked like he was tackled from within the line. He probably might have gained maybe 2 or 3 yards, and the next thing you know, he knifed out of there, and he was gone for a 75-yard run. And it seemed once he got in the open field, he's definitely got some speed because nobody was catching him from behind. Other than that, they ran before that, they scored on it. They had a beautiful drive, about 12 plays. They ran 55 yards, controlling the ball. They executed well. They seemed to be running a lot of counter plays, a lot of traps, which was kind of confusing to the Thornton Academy linemen and linebackers, who, well, as keeping them in a position where they couldn't commit themselves to anything on the play. They had to either wait for the handoff and then come back the other way, and by that time, the Sanford running backs had already come back and gained like 4 or 5, sometimes closer to 8 or 9 yards a clip.
And with Thornton running that 4-4 defense, especially with the linebackers stacked as close as they are, when you break through, you have a lot of running room, and that's what's been happening with those traps plays, and especially with that 75-yard scoring run. Everyone thought Jeff Dupree was down, and then he scoots ahead, and before you know it, the only man that could catch him is Huey Connor, and he's long gone.
And Huey didn't really have much of a hope either. Notice Huey tried to get a penalty out of that play towards the end of having the Sanford lineman come from behind and hitting him, but there was no chance to call something like that on a play whether he was gone. Dupree was gone.
Okay, and we'll be back and have the Sanford statistics right after this word from Menard's Oil Burner Service.
Hello, Menard's Oil Burner Service. May I help you?
From the time you call to the time our expert serviceman arrives, the people at Menard's Oil Burner Service of 289 Granite Street, Biddeford, make you feel like you're doing business with professionals. For example, our 5-point tune-up includes a thorough brushing of the flue passages and flue pipe leading to the chimney. A new oil filter is installed each year to assure the proper oil flow to the burner, as well as the proper size and angle nozzle to assure maximum combustion efficiency. A computerized efficiency test and smoke test is then performed to allow Menard's Oil Burner Service to tune your heating system to minimize this year's heating bills. So for your heating needs this year, call us at 283-3363 or look for our ad in the yellow pages under heating and oil burner service.
Time at Cobb Stadium, Sanford on top 14-7. Dan, checking out those Sanford stats, that one drive definitely boosting the stats for the first half.
Well, it didn't seem like really anybody could sustain anything in the first half at all, except for that one drive. And going back, looking over the stats, Sanford did seem to have a territorial edge. They definitely battled it out. Paul Toth, I've got him down for 49 yards rushing. Dupree with 86 yards rushing. A lot of that coming on that 75-yard run, but let's give the guy credit. He made a beautiful run, as well as a few other ones inside on that earlier drive to keep things moving. We've got Rich Landry, the quarterback, running for 20 yards. We thought he was going to put the ball up a lot more than he did. He only threw 4 passes and completed 1 for 14 yards, but there really has been no need for him. The counter plays, and like we say, and the traps that they've been running have really been confusing the Thornton defense, and they've been able to hold on to the ball.
But he's not afraid to run when he has to, that's for sure, and he has had a couple important runs for first downs and also breaking a few himself.
Well, they've got 4 first downs the first half, and we might have expected a few more considering the game situation we're going in. Like Bob Cody said earlier in the game, the team that executes and the team that wins the line of scrimmage is gonna come out on top. Sanford had a little rough going the first part of the first quarter where they really couldn't sustain anything. It seemed like the Thornton defense more or less had come alive, and then all of a sudden the Sanford offensive line came alive themselves, and all those counters and traps, they were moving the Thornton defensive linemen where they wanted to go and creating the holes for these running backs.
And turnovers, one close call for Sanford on that sustained drive on Thornton's 14-yard line. A fumble by Rich Landry, but recovered by their big tackle, LaRue. So that kept the drive alive, and Sanford afterwards put the touchdown in.
Well, Landry did put the ball in the end zone after that with a 1-yard dive, but with the ball being on the 14-yard line and a fumble there, it was very key for Sanford to recover their own ball. If they would have turned the ball over to Thornton, definitely would have created a little momentum going the other way, and we could see a 14-7 score, but it would have been Thornton Academy on top and not Sanford. So a very key heads-up play by Roger LaRue that time, falling on the ball and recovering for Sanford.
Okay, and we'll be back with the Thornton Academy statistics right after this word from Menard's Oil Burner Service.
With Menard's Oil Burner Service, when you call for one of our free heating system home energy audits, we don't send the salesman. We send Duke Menard, an experienced service technician with over 20 years in the heating business. Duke will perform a computerized efficiency test, as well as a smoke test to analyze the operation of your heating equipment. And then he will present you with a written report and explanation of what could be done to minimize this year's heating bills. So remember, if you're not sure what your needs are, call us for a free heating system home energy audit. And remember, if you're in the market for a new home, before you buy, call us for an opinion at Menard's Oil Burner Service, 283-3363. Or look for our display ad in the yellow pages under Heating and Oil Burner Service.
Back at halftime, Al Sicard with Dan Roy. We have Sanford on top, 14-7, and Thornton got a break early in the game. Scott Stabinski picking off a Rich Landry pass and bringing it in for 30 yards, but after that, Thornton not be able to put any offensive momentum together.
Sanford, well, Thornton really had a standstill most of the first half, other than that first break where Stabinski intercepted the pass and ran it in about 30 yards for the touchdown. Other than that, Thornton has pretty much been questionable as far as their offensive movement. They haven't been getting too much success running the ball wide. They've tried a few sweeps with Roberge, and the defensive ends, Jeff Kent and who the other boy there that was there, Dana Rancourt, both containing very well for the Sanford Redskins. A really strong pursuit and keeping Thornton, just stretching it out until pursuit comes in, and they get a little help with the team tackling. Other than that, Thornton really hasn't shown us too much. Chuck Cody's thrown 3 passes, completed 2 of them, but both to his backs coming out of the backfield. A combined total of about 20 yards for Chuck as far as yards gained. Other than that, there really hasn't been too many bright spots for the Thornton Academy Trojans.
I guess expect Bob Cody to come out the second half and open up things a little bit?
I would say he would. I said early in the game that I thought David Bernier was going to have to have a big game. We almost saw him pick one off on the far sidelines.
That's on defense. You got to put some stats together offensively to win games too.
Absolutely, but I was just referring to the fact that David Bernier He is a versatile ball player. He is an athlete, as I mentioned earlier, and he is capable of pulling off a big play every now and then. And offensively, he's got a good pair of hands. We know Chuck Cody can throw the ball. Coach Conley from Sanford told us that before the game. Even though percentage-wise hasn't been too successful this year, he realized he has a strong arm, and that's why I say if Thornton Academy is going to have to open it up, they're going to have to go to Bernia, because the Sanford defense is keen on Jamison. If you'll notice, anytime Jamison's near the ball, there's 2 or 3 Sanford defenders there to stop him.
And they're trying to open up Roberge on those end sweeps, and he has been getting nowhere either.
Well, it was kind of funny to more or less see Roberge come into the game. We saw the first game against Chevrolet. He saw limited action as far as a running back, but now he's back in there, and they're trying to use him on the outside, which is not really questionable at this point, because they're trying to open up the Sanford defense, but they've been getting nowhere going with it. And I'm wondering if Coach Cody is going to come back and try to come to the inside game and try to win it between the tackles, because he's got some good linemen down there, and Mike Harvey, Rod Legenda, Joe Levesque, the center. They have been doing a fairly good job as far as keeping the Sanford defenders out. So,
and what do we have for rushing statistics so far for Thornton?
Pretty limited for the Golden Trojans right now. I've got David Jamison as a net 7 yards. Brian Roberge, the big gainer, he's only got 15 yards, and Chris Gordon's only carried the ball twice, and he's got 2 yards carried. So it's kind of tough to sustain anything when you have limited action from your backfield. David Jamison's been forced to punt 3 times. He's made one beautiful punt of about 35 yards. The other 2, very nice kicks. We got a lot of height on him, which with no return, but a little over 20 yards. And like I say, he got some height where his teammates could converge and cover and not allow Sanford to get a return. Because I really feel that Sanford is dangerous in special team situations like that. I think that they have good specialty teams. I'm surprised to see them put their quarterback out there, Rich Landry, on special teams. But hey, Coach Conley must know what he's doing at this point. I mean, he's been with the team for 10 years now. He's familiar with what goes on. He's familiar with Thornton Academy too, and Bob Cody at the same time.
Go with your best athletes.
All the time.
And that's it for the halftime show, brought to you by Menard's Oil Burner Service of Granite Street Extension in Biddeford. Have you had your furnace cleaned and checked recently? Exciting action here from Cobb Stadium. Sanford on top, 14-7. We'll be back with second half action right after these commercial messages.
Before buying your new car, shop around. And then shop Crapo Motors, U.S. Route 1 in Kennebunk, for Dodge, American Motors, Jeep, and Renault. Now here's Ray Crapo to tell you more.
Welcome to Crapo Motors, Route 1 in Kennebunk, where we've been servicing the public for 33 years. I'd like to invite you to test drive our newly styled 1984 Plymouth Turismo, a Dodge Chargers, a Dodge 600 4-door sedan, 2-door sedans, convertibles, our Dodge trucks, 2-wheel drives and 4-wheel drive, and our proven 5-year, 50,000-mile powertrain warranty at no charge, also on our LeBarons, our 2-doors, convertibles, and our Chrysler front-wheel drive New Yorker, also our rear-wheel drive New Yorker. The last one we'd like to have you test drive is a brand-new downsized Jeep Cherokee. You have to drive this one to believe it. Come in and test drive it today.
Before buying your new car, shop around. And then shop Crapo Motors, U.S. Route 1 in Kennebunk.
The Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant extends a warm welcome to all their friends in southern Maine. Stop in for a lunch, dinner, or night out with family and friends. The Kerryman menu has everything from soups and sandwiches to spaghetti, and all at reasonable prices. And since this is a family business, each dish is prepared with that something extra.
Some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn.
And remember, the Kerryman's banquet room for your next social function. You'll be glad you did. That's the Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant, located on Route 1 in Saco, just a bit of the Emerald Isle in York County.
We're ready for the second half kickoff here at Cobb Stadium. Al Sicard along with Dan Roy, the Sanford Redskins, on top 14-7. And Dan, as we mentioned before, a crucial game for both teams, and I think a crucial possession right here for the Thornton Trojans after seeing it all Sanford's way in the second quarter.
Well, even though it was all Sanford's way, neither team still had a chance to really sustain anything. Like we did mention, Sanford did have that one drive, but that was it. They really had nothing else going for them, and Thornton really didn't have too much going for them in the first half. So, score or not, Thornton has got to move the ball in their first possession.
Okay, and we've got Jeff Dupree teeing it up for Sanford, and deep Brian Roberge for the Trojans. Dupree comes and gets a low one away. High, yep, going over Huey Connor's head. He picks it up at his 7, and he gets to that far sideline and pushed out of bounds by Steve Hall and Jeff Dupree, the kickoff man himself. And we do have an injured Sanford player on the sideline, Larry Latang. Coach is attending to him. Lenny Latang, rather. Langtang.
Yeah, looks like Lenny Langtang got a little shaken up on the play for Sanford right there when they were pushing Huey Connor out of bounds. Huey made a nice job coming off that sideline, though. It looked like he was getting trapped inside his 10, and he managed to get about another 10 yards out of it with no blocking.
With no block, 14-yard return gets Thornton out of the hole it looked like they were going to be in.
I wonder if they're going to open it up. We were told we might see Al Stone play a little tight end this game. We looked for him the first half. There was nothing. Maybe Coach Cody's going to come out with him. He's a pretty big, strong kid. He plays defensive end most of the time. We were told that he was going to play some offensive end. If he plays tight end, we could see Coach Cody go to the double tight end offense, either to support his running game or maybe open up another receiver somewhere.
Thornton has to do something. Total yardage in the first half was probably less than 50 yards here, Dan.
Well, just right around 50. They've got 20 yards passing and about 24 yards running, so Thornton really didn't sustain anything. They had a one break by Stabinski, and that was about it. Other than that, Sanford defense has kept them in check.
And Lenny Lantang being helped off to the bench here appears like a leg injury. And that's why the officials held up play. 1st and 10 for Thornton Academy, trailing 14-7. Ball is spotted on their own 21-yard line. Bernier comes over to the left. Connor is on the right, motion by Jamison. The pitch is to Roberge. He's looking for the sideline. Good block by Jamison. Cuts inside for about 5. And that time, Jamison opening the way for Roberge.
Oh, we could see Jamison using a totally different aspect this second half. We know Sanford keyed on him the first half. We know that most teams around the league realize that Jamison is a threat, either to carry the ball or to catch the ball. He may not touch the ball this half and just throw some key blocks like he did right there for Roberge.
Or he may catch it. He split to the left with Bernier. I formation for Thornton, and a quick one out to Jamison. And a good reaction that time by Dan Ford, who read that play well. Jamison doing a good job just to catch that ball. A little underthrown, but those naked screens out there are very tough to go out and gain yardage on.
Well, Chuck Cody's completed 3 passes, all of them to his back, all of them short and the flat. I wonder if they're trying to set up Sanford for the long one.
Motion by Jamison to the right. And Cody goes to the right. He keeps it. Oh, he is hit, and hit hard by Landry coming up from the secondary, tackling his own, and why not?
Well, like we say, we know that the kid is a fine athlete, and he made a nice stick right there, quarterback on quarterback. Might be a little incentive there, Al.
It'll be 4th and 1, and Thornton Academy, it's got to be punting. So first drive in the second half here for Thornton stalled. On the 4th and 1, Jamison back to punt. And he gets one off to the sideline. Fair catch called. And Paul Toth picking it up on the 40-yard line. So Sanford will take the ball on their own 40. So again, Thornton showing some signs of getting an offensive drive together, but stopped by the Redskins.
Well, now, Sanford, obviously, with success in the first half running the counter plays and the trap plays, I would think we'll come right back with the same thing for the second half and execute ball control.
All right, Rich Landry at the helm. And it comes to Toth, running to the right, and good pursuit from behind by Rick Redmond, who appears got a little education on those rolling plays, and he showed a little speed that time, catching Landry from behind.
Well, actually, the entire Thornton defense looked like they might have learned a little something over halftime, because there was like 3 or 4 jerseys in the area on that play, which we didn't see in the first half. So apparently they might have made a few adjustments. It doesn't look like they made any personnel changes. We have the same ball players out there. Now they're probably a little wiser to Sanford's game plan.
2nd and 8. Landry with the draw to Toth. He'll pick up about 1 more. So expect a passing situation here on 3rd and about 6. And we have Greg Hall and Jeff Dupree coming into the lineup. Carl Leach coming in as a wide receiver. He's splitting to the right. Steve Hall and Toth, the running backs. Toth in the slot to the left. Hall, the sole running back. 3rd and 6. Landry, pump once. He's going long. And incomplete. A little overthrown to Greg Hall. One of those, just pitch it up and hope he can run under it.
Well, Bernier made a nice play there, guiding Greg Hall. It was a pump action. They were hoping to catch Bernier stop flat-footed and Hall could get around him, but Bernier stayed with him. Landry made a fairly nice pass, actually, but it was just a good defensive play on Bernier's part.
Okay, so that's a quick possession for Sanford. 4th and 6, they'll be punting. And a low snap, and they just missed it. They just missed it. And that time, Hall having everything he could do just to get the ball away. Thornton would take it on their own 35-yard line, but Trojans putting on the heat that time, and you think with that low snap, they would have a chance to block that one, but good reaction that time by Greg Hall.
Greg Hall did a good job kicking that ball clear. The idea is, the coach will tell you there, don't try to get the distance, just get it up in the air so it's not blocked. That time Thornton had 4 or 5 guys putting the pressure on. Who knows, maybe if Hall would have kept his foot out there and done a little acting, we might still see Sanford with the ball.
Okay, Jamison in motion to the right. Cody going back to pass. Open is Jamison. Breaks a few tackles and keeps the legs pumping. And he'll pick up the 1st down. A gain of about 11 on that play. So once again, Chuck Cody going to his men out of the backfield for a 1st down. Some good field position, 1st and 10 from their own 47.
Look for TA to open it up. Absolutely. With coming out on a 1st down like that, throwing, especially to your back Jamison, like we said, he's versatile. Thornton got good blocking from their linemen that time. Joe Levesque, Rod Legenda, Gary Anderson. They've got, if they can maintain this type of tempo, I think it's going to have to keep an up tempo. They're not going to be able to grind it out against Sanford.
Gordon with a big hole up the middle. Oh, and a saving tackle that time by Carl Leach. And as we say, when you start moving the ball on the pass, that opens up that running game. And Gordon picking up another 1st down, 10-yard run.
Well, Gordon, besides being a football player, is also an excellent spring track runner. He runs the anchor, I believe, on a 300-yard or the 400-yard relay. So the kid's in fine shape, and he's got some speed. If he'd have broken that tackle there, we might have seen him turn the corner. But good tackle there.
Carl Leach with the saving tackle in the secondary. 1st and 10 from the Sanford 44. Thornton Academy trailing 14-7. And we have some motion here. Were they drawn? No, the Thornton Academy fans are cheering. Appears that time that Dwayne Rancourt, that left defensive end position, getting a little anxious. So 5 more yards to Thornton. That'll place the ball at the 38 with 7:36 remaining, 3rd quarter of action. And this is best drive we've seen Thornton put together this far.
Well, they look pretty poised, and they look like they have been gaining a little bit of momentum here. So who knows? They've still got 40 yards to go before they hit pay dirt.
Jamison in motion. A handoff to Gordon. And this time, the hole is closed by a host of Sanford defenders. We see Tim Payer getting up, and Dwayne Rancourt, left side. Steve Howe also in there, giving a little help. That's one thing you notice about this Sanford defense. They get burned once on a play, and they don't usually get burned a second time, at least not in the same drive.
No, they do seem to be able to read a play well in the action of the offense. So.
Okay, the pitch is to Roberge. Yes, he tries, picks up a few yards, but good speed by Landry, and also Dana Rancourt coming over from his defensive tackle position. One thing about these Sanford defensive linemen, not only are they big and can stop the run up the middle, but they get out on the far sidelines very quick as well.
They do an excellent job of stringing the play out. By that I mean forcing the runner to run laterally rather than down the field gaining yardage, which allows their backfield men to come up and help assist in the tackling.
Important third down play from the Sanford 35-yard line. 3rd and 2. Roberge has the first down. Roberge. Yeah, Landry and Jeff Kent on that tackle. And it's a 1st and 10 from the Sanford 33-yard line. So the drive moves on. And Thornton Academy, this drive started their own 22-yard line, was it, Dan?
Just about the 20-yard line, just about an even 20 out.
All righty, 1st and 10 from the 33. Jamison splits to the left. And Gordon in motion. Fake to Roberge. Cody comes back to pass. Has a man open, overthrows him. Connor was open, cutting underneath. John Binet in the secondary was open for a split second, but Chuck Cody a little too high with his pass. First time he's gone to his wide receivers.
First time he's gone over the middle like that too. That would have been the biggest gain as far as passing completion for Thornton, which what we had called on earlier. I think that they're going to have to open it up, and they're going to have to go a little bit deeper rather than just swing it out to their backfield men.
Okay, Connor the tight end to the left. Bernier split to the right. Cody back to pass, and short man Jamison picking it up on that far sideline, and he'll be a little short of the first down, so that'll bring up a 3rd and short. Gain of about 9 on the play. So Thornton mixing it up a little bit and moving the ball successfully.
Well, it definitely seems that now they've decided, Coach Cody said earlier that he didn't want to throw the ball if he didn't have to. Obviously, he feels that he's in a position after watching the first half that he is going to have to mix it up and put the ball up in the air a lot more often.
Okay. They have motion to the right, and this time to Roberge, who should have enough for the first down. So instead of the first game we saw against Chevrolet going to Gordon on the short down situations, they're going to Roberge now and using Jamison in motion as a decoy.
Well, Brian Roberge has obviously showed the coaching staff something in the last couple weeks in practice. Otherwise, he wouldn't be out there running with the ball so often, especially in a key game like this, his head-to-head matchup with the Sanford Redskins.
4:55 remaining in the 3rd quarter of action, and Thornton is threatening now on the Sanford 23-yard line, and they put the clock in motion with the 1st and 10. Very important, as we mentioned earlier, for Thornton Academy to establish some momentum here in the 3rd quarter after having it all Sanford's way in the 2nd quarter of action. Bernier splits to the left, and Jamison's in slot to the left. Motion by Gordon. Roberge going off tackle on the left and breaks tackles, and he picks up the first down and more. He's down on the 7-yard line, and he'll give him a gain of about 12 on that play, and that's what we saw. We didn't see much of Roberge in the Chevrolet game, but in that preseason game against Deering, he was running all over the field.
Well, maybe an injury might have been slowing up or whatnot, but he's definitely showing us some running today, and he had some good blocking there to follow.
Flag on that play. Procedure against Thornton Academy. So they'll move him back. Instead of having a 1st and goal from the 7-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal from about the 12, and that hurts. You got to make up 12 yards instead of only about 7 or 8.
Well, that's right. Plus the fact that now, even though you're back outside the 10, you can't get a first down. It's 1st and goal from no matter where you are at this point. So Thornton obviously going to have to try to pull something out. I think they might put the ball in the air and go for the score in this first play.
Okay, we've got Gordon in the slot to the right with Bernier. Fakes the handoff and pitches to Roberge. And if he can beat Dan Ford, he could have that corner, but Dan Ford showing good speed, breaking the block by Jamison and rolling off and making the tackle. And a pickup of only a couple. Again, Thornton having trouble getting those wide blades going, picking up yards, just because of the quick pursuit and speed of the Sanford squad.
Well, Dan Ford has been in quite a few tackles and assisting quite a bit here for the Sanford defense, along with Jeff Kent and also Dwayne Rancourt. These guys have really been doing a lot of movement for Sanford out there, so they've been keeping them contained.
And Roberge, he's bulling ahead, off tackle to the right, and they're using him, even though he's a tailback, using him as a fullback today. He does have some weight, 175 we have him listed, and as opposed to 185 for Chris Gordon, who is the fullback. Getting a little closer, important third down play, 3rd and goal from the 4, and you hear the crowd whooping it up now. They want to, the Thornton people want to see 7. Motion by Gordon, and the handoff is to Roberge, and a good open field stick by Steve Hall. That was just plain one-on-one football. Hall coming up and just good, hard defense.
Well, Coach Cody was quoted in the paper as saying that he was really concerned about the play of the 2 linebackers of Sanford, Steve Hall and Jeff Dupree. Last week, Hall was named one of the co-players of the week, along with the quarterback, Rich Landry. They both had excellent games against Lewiston. He made 11 tackles, and Dupree made 7 tackles last week. So, unassisted, that really tells you a lot about these kids as far as they have a nose for the football. They know where the area is going to be covered, and like I had said, Coach Cody was concerned about their play, and now he's running right at them.
Okay, and with 2:26 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Sanford on top, 14-7, an important 4th down and goal. We'll pause for these commercial messages.
At Shaw's, you'll discover the difference low prices really make, because now Shaw's guarantees these prices through the rest of 1983. Kraft macaroni and cheese is just 4 for $1, and Green Giant niblet corn is only 3 for $1 through 83. Shaw's guarantees these low prices will stay low every day through 83. For guaranteed low prices, shop Shaw's. You'll discover the difference everyday lower prices really make.
Auto World, located on Route 1 in Saco, has a full line of Renaults, AMCs, Jeeps, Dodge cars, and trucks, 2- and 4-wheel drive vehicles, not to mention factory-trained technicians, diagnostic equipment, and competitive prices. If you want luxury, dependability, or great gas mileage, surprisingly low prices, stop in at Auto World. Talk with Jake Carteret.
Inviting all my friends and business associates to come down here at Auto World and see the new Alliance 1983 Motor Trends Car of the Year, plus the Encore 3- and 5-door hatchback, and the Eagle 4-wheel drive station wagons.
Hi, I'm Dick Fritz, sales manager here at Auto World. I'd like to invite all my friends down to see this 1984 Jeep Wagoneer, the exciting new car from AMC. There's always a world of difference here at Auto World. Come down and see us now.
Auto World, located on Route 1 in Saco, where there is a world of difference.
4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Pat Conley, they're taking a timeout. And I don't see Mark Cole in there, Dan, so it appears that Thornton's going to try to push it in.
Well, it looks like what Coach Cody has in mind also is his defense had an excellent stance last time, holding Sanford to 3 quick downs. Even if they don't push it in, they've got Sanford in the hole back with their backs to the wall, and you don't know what's going to happen from there.
All righty. A fine drive so far by Thornton, and it's coming down to this 4th down play. Jamison, movement to the right, and it goes to Roberge, and he pushes it in on a second effort, taking a couple Sanford tacklers in with him. Brian Roberge, and it appears that Dave Jamison is hurt. He's still down in the end zone. Brian Roberge, though, with a fine run, a second effort. He was actually stopped at the goal line by about 3 Sanford plays, and that second effort to push it in, a good 75-yard drive for the Trojans.
Not only mentioned, Brian Robush carried the ball the last 8 plays. I mean, they didn't go to anybody else but Brian Robush. So maybe thinking that Sanford was going to key on Jamison, or I think Thornton was going to switch back to Chris Gordon. Instead, Coach Cody elected to stay with Robush, and it proved out to be the bulwark for him because he got him 6 points.
Okay, and a very important extra point. Thornton trailing by 1, and I see Mark Cole out there, so it appears they'll go for the tie.
Well, at this point, it's still early in the game. The 1 point gives you the 14 all. You're going to need another score one way or the other. Whether if you go for 2 points and you miss it, now you're behind, whereas at least if you kick the extra point, you've got a tie and you've got a chance to go into overtime.
And Mark Cole has a good track record so far this season, a very consistent kicker.
Very consistent and a strong leg. We saw him kick a 23-yard field goal with ease against Cheverus. He's a former soccer player, but he seems to be kicking straight on when he kicks here for the Golden Trojans. So we'll see if he can split the uprights with this one.
And Sanford would like to block it, and they're all getting ready. Snap, all important. High, but Cody brings it down, and he shanked it, and it's no good. Wide to the right, so could be a very important missed point by Mark Cole. That keeps it Sanford on top, 14-13 with 2:22 remaining in the third quarter of action. But plenty of time left. Very impressive Thornton drive, and the first one of this game has to give their offense some confidence now, and hopefully the Thornton fans spark their defensive unit.
Well, that's just it, Al. Like we had mentioned earlier, if the offense works well and gets something going, then the defense comes back and feels that, well, the offense has done their fair share, let's do our fair share. We saw the Thornton defense take control early. Sanford's only had 1 possession in this half so far, and it was 3 quick plays and then give the ball back to Thornton. Thornton turned around, ran an 11-play scoring drive with 75 yards. Good ball control. They executed very well with Brian Robush being the bull. He carried the ball, like we said, the last 8 plays, and that covered well over 35 yards. So, I mean, maybe Thornton has found a little flaw in the Sanford defense.
Alrighty, and Al Stone teeing it up deep for Sanford. Sean Fowler and Paul Toth. Cobb Stadium kind of being in the bowl-type situation, even though we're getting a little breeze up here in the booth. It seems pretty calm down on the playing field itself. But if there would be any breeze, it would be Al Stone's favor this period. And it's a low squibber. Picked up and down. No chances taken by John Burnett. He says the 33-yard line is fine for me. I'm not used to this kind of stuff. And Coach Conley gets very nervous when he sees his up men running with the football.
He's probably figuring, what do I do with this? Am I supposed to do something with this ball right now? Up men are usually responsible for the blocking. So, plus, it's not that bad field position. I'm sure Coach Conley might have told him, look, any of you guys in the up position feel like you've got the ball, just before you get tackled, go down and take the yardage. Sanford is in good field position.
Okay, 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line. Landry bringing them up. A handoff is to Jeff Dupree, who bulls it ahead for a couple. Being stopped on the play by Rick Redmond and Scott Stabinski. And I see Jamison coming back into the ball game, replacing Jeff Thompson.
Well, it's good to see him at least come back in the ball game. We know that the injury wasn't serious enough to keep him off the field, so thank goodness for the Trojan fans at this point.
All right, well, we'll see if they try to test Jamison. Matt Gendron getting a little anxious that time, charging across.
Got an early start on that play, Al.
But so far, anyways, a pretty cleanly played game as far as penalties go. And that'll make it 2nd and about 15 from their own 30. Dupree and Toth in the backfield for the Redskins. Landry with the counterplay to Toth, and he is hit head to head. We'll see him as a unstack. Joey Bissonette putting that old helmet and saying, glad to know you, Paul.
Let me introduce myself to you. Excellent stick right there. It might have been, it seems that Thornton is sending in their linebackers. They're blitzing almost every play, which tells you that they really feel that the Sanford offensive line cannot contain the defensive line head-to-head. You send in a blitzing linebacker, and he's pretty much free to roam and hit just like Joey Bissonette did.
Passing situation, 3rd and about 14. Landry going back to pass, and he is decked by Al Stone coming in from his defensive end position. And you saw that one coming. Stoney had the momentum, pushed the blocker all the way right into Landry for the sack.
Well, we had just mentioned the fact that Thornton was blitzing a lot of people, sending a lot of them in. Sanford line cannot seem to contain Thornton one-on-one, therefore freeing somebody. That time it was Al Stone, and he made the most of it.
And we'll end on that note. 3rd quarter of action is now complete and a very close competition, so don't go away. We have Sanford on top, 14-13 with 12 more minutes to play.
The Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant, located on Route 1 in Saco, invites you and your family to stop in for great food and great fun. Bring your friends for a lunch, dinner, or night out at the Kerryman. The menu is varied and the refreshments are always cold. Stop in and chances are you'll see someone you know at the Kerryman Pub, where they have the best entertainment in the area. And don't forget the Kerryman Banquet Room. Room has a partition which can be pulled to assure privacy from the rest of the pub area. That's the Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant, a bit of the Emerald Isle located on Route 1 in Saco.
People think that lawyers talk too much and cost too much. At Legal Services in Maine, we're different. We designed our law practice for those who can't afford a high-priced law firm, yet still need a good, caring legal representative. Legal Services in Maine is a private law firm ready to advise you at a very reasonable cost. We can handle an uncontested divorce for as little as $200. So whether you've been sued, hurt in an accident, or simply need advice, Legal Services in Maine can help. We care, and we will fight for you.
Important last 12 minutes of the game. Al Sicard along with Dan Roy. Punting situation for the Redskins. We've got Greg Howell doing the punting. He'll be at his own 8-yard line. Going deep is Huey Connor and Roberge for the Trojans. Going to be taken short by Jamison, and he is collared by Jeff Dupree down on the tackle. So the Trojans will have the ball 1st and 10 from the Redskin 45, actually close to 43-yard line. Best field position of the day for Thornton.
Absolutely. This is what their best start actually of the day. They had an excellent offensive drive last time they had the ball. This is really putting Sanford's defense to a test right here.
Okay, motion by Peterson to the right. And the inside handoff, Gordon breaks a couple tackles and finally is upended by Carl Leach in the secondary. And Leach getting up a little slow. You feel that pounding when you get 185 Chris Gordon picking up a bunch of steam after gaining about 7 or 8 yards.
Thing is, most of the tackles being made by Sanford have been by either their linebackers or their defensive backs, with the Thornton running backs getting past the linemen.
Once again to Gordon. He'll have enough for the 1st down at the 34-yard line. That time, Pete Calamaharis, who's coming out of the game now, picked up. No, he'll be a little short. Be 3rd and about 1. Short down situation, and they're going to Roberge, but Sanford was ready for that one. No gain on that play. Actually, a loss of maybe a half a yard. Getting up off the pile, Mac Gendron. 4th and short. We'll call about 1.5. Dave Jamison bringing in the play, replacing Eric Peterson. Important 4th down play from the Sanford 35-yard line. Jamison in motion. Brian Roberge with the ball. Appears that I think he's going to be short. Depends where they mark it. Officials timeout. Sanford players are pointing one way and TA's pointing the other. All depends on that marking. Dan with the binoculars.
He's coming up short, Al.
As the war cry goes out for the Redskins here. 9:53 remaining in this ball game. Sanford with a slim 1-point lead, 14-13. All important measure, and the Sanford Redskins held. So that fires up the Redskin crowd here. They will get the ball back on their own 34-yard line.
Well, they have good field position as far as Sanford's concerned, but it's really not field position that's going to hurt Thornton Academy at this point either. Their defense has shown that they have been able to contain, and they have been sticking fairly well the second half. So I'm sure that Thornton's coach Bob Cody feels like even if he didn't get it, he wasn't going to be in a situation where it's going to come back to haunt him.
But more important than field position, Sanford just glad to have the ball back with that 1-point lead. Good penetration by Tufts that time, and opens a way for Redmond to make the tackle on Paul Toth. So Redmond with the collar, but Tufts was in the backfield that time, almost the same time as the handoff.
They've been penetrating very well against the Sanford offensive line. Sanford line has really been running well, has been operating well, I should say, when they've been running the counters and the traps. And now they've decided to run a few different plays, and the Thornton defense has adjusted well.
Okay. Landry rolling to his left, carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, makes the corner. And Eric Peterson coming up to make the tackle. Very dangerous running with Landry holding the ball with one hand that time as he was making the corner. If he had got caught from behind, that would have been a loose ball.
And it looked like he might have been caught from behind. Al Stone was coming up from nowhere behind him, but the Sanford lineman stayed right on him and managed to delay him long enough. You're right, Landry was carrying that quite carelessly, which you don't want to turn the ball over at this point now if you're in Sanford's position. Good block that time by Roger LaRue on his left side of the line here, allowing Landry to make the corner. And important 3rd down play for Sanford, 3rd and 3. And the pitch is to Toth, looking for room to his right. He's going to be short. Good stick that time by Thornton. We see Al Stone and UConn over there, Scott Stabinski. They're going to be short, be 4th and 1, and the Sanford punting team comes in. So we're in the 4th quarter, 8:34 remaining in the game, becoming a defensive struggle now, Dan. Just what both coaches called for at the beginning. Talking to Pat Conley early, he seemed to feel that this was going to be a defensive game, there weren't going to be a lot of points scored, and whoever won the battle defensively was going to come out on the ball game. At this point, it's exactly what the score says, 1-point game. And a high punt. Fair catch by Roberge at their own 34-yard line. So a couple of trade of punts, and each team starting on their own 34. 8:10 remaining in this game. 1-point lead, Sanford on top, 14-13. See Jesse Booth in the game now for Thornton Academy. 175-pound junior lining up as a tight end, this right side. Jamison in motion. The pitch is to Roberge. Good block by Jamison. Opens up a hole. Flag is down on the play, however, and tacked by Jeff Dupree. Looks like we got a holding call on Thornton Academy in that play, Al. Coming around on the sweep. It's going to negate that gain. Put Thornton back. It'll be about 1st and 25. That hurts. Instead of 1st and, well, actually 2nd down from their own 42, Thornton's going to be in a hole now. They'll march off 15. They'll be at their own 20. You can't have those penalties. No, especially when you're 1 point behind and your time is wearing away in the 4th quarter. Thornton was just starting the last two possessions to do a little something with the ball. A penalty like that takes a little momentum away, and it makes you work a heck of a lot harder. You've got to call a different type of ball game now because you've got to get that yardage back quicker. And you're not going to get it by running the off tackles and the end around.
1st and 25 from their own 20-yard line. So Chuck Cody waving his hands up saying, what's the story here? Jesse Booth leaves the game, placed by Hugh Connor. Jamison splits out wide to the left. Bernier to the near side. Gordon in the slot. And he's looking for Jamison. And oh, Carl Leach going for the interception, and a heads-up play that time by Dave Jamison, just getting the head in to upend Leach at the right time, or else that was going to be an interception.
Well, Jamison realized he had no shot to catch that ball, so the next best thing is to stop Leach from picking it off, because if he'd have picked that one off, that was the same situation David Bernier had in the first half. He was in the end zone untouched for 6 points.
Dangerous pass that time by Cody. Lofted it up there just over Jamison's reach. 2nd and 25. Pitch is on the ground. Jamison gets a good bounce, but he's lucky. Hey, breaks it. Boy, keeping those legs moving. What appeared to be a gain of only 1. Jamison dug out about 5 or 6 on that play. But it'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and about 19. They're definitely calling Jamison's number here late in the game. 7:31 remaining.
Well, with Sanford keying on Jamison most of the game, too, I think that maybe what the coaching staff of Thornton Academy is setting up is the fact that they're going to go away from Jamison when they really need the big play.
I think they need the big play here, Dan. What do you think? 3rd and about 19?
I see him going to Bernier deep.
All right. He says Bernier deep, which is Bernier's on the near side. He's looking for Jamison deep. And it was a leg race between Jamison and Carl Leach. It appeared that Dave might have had some problems with it. Like maybe that injury early in the game did appear to take a step or two away from Dave.
Yeah, he didn't seem to be running full boat right there. Plus the fact it seemed like Chuck Cody might have released the ball a little bit earlier on that. A situation like that, I think Chuck probably needed an extra step back on the drop, which would have allowed Jamison to get out a little bit beyond the defensive back, because the ball wasn't thrown that badly, except for the fact that it was overthrown. And like we say, Jamison didn't seem to be running full speed, but he did seem to, if he could have been, he would have had a step on his defender.
And Jamison might have injured his punting leg earlier, because we've got David Bernier trying his first punt of the game. This could be very important.
Very important. Left-footed kicker also. Nice.
It gets a high one. They didn't lose anything there, that's for sure. Fair catch called by Sean Fowler. And Sanford will take the ball their own 39-yard line with 7:21 remaining from Cobb Stadium. Sanford leads 14-13. We'll be back for the final 7 minutes of this game right after this commercial message.
You're hungry for a salad? Make your own at Shaw's Super Salad Bar. Help yourself to over 30 icy cool favorites. Tender, fresh greens. Sweet, juicy fruits. Bright, colorful vegetables. Golden chunks of cheese. All bedded down on ice to keep it cool and crispy. A freshness you won't find anywhere else. Shaw's, where salad lovers are someone special every day.
Before buying your new car, shop around. And then shop Crapo Motors, U.S. Route 1 in Kennebunk, for Dodge, American Motors, Jeep, and Renault. Now here's Ray Crapo to tell you more.
Welcome to Crapo Motors, Route 1 in Kennebunk, where we've been servicing the public for 33 years. I'd like to invite you to test drive our newly styled 1984 Plymouth Turismo, a Dodge Chargers, a Dodge 600 four-door sedan, two-door sedans, convertibles, our Dodge trucks, two-wheel drives and four-wheel drive, and our proven 5-year, 50,000-mile powertrain warranty at no charge. Also on our LeBarons, our two-doors, convertibles, and our Chrysler front-wheel drive New Yorker, also our rear-wheel drive New Yorker. The last one we'd like to have you test drive is a brand-new downsized Jeep Cherokee. You have to drive this one to believe it. Come here to test drive it today.
Before buying your new car, shop around. And then shop Crapo Motors, U.S. Route 1 in Kennebunk.
You are tuned to the cable channel, 11 in Saco and Old Orchard, 16 in Biddeford, and this week also 16 in Sanford. We must pause momentarily. Please stay tuned.
Stadium, 1st and 10 for the Sanford Redskins. Their own 39-yard line, leading 14-13. Al Sicard along with Dan Roy, bringing you this game on the cable channel. Inside handoff, the ball toss, finding nothing. Redmond and company. Bissonette, also Stabinski on the tackle. Be 2nd and 10. These Trojan linemen are hungry now.
They certainly are, Al, and the linebackers. On that play there, Thornton was sending in 8 men for a rush, which tells you that they're pretty much reading what Sanford's coming in for a play. Thing is, if you're a Sanford fan, you're saying, well, let's try to sneak up and sneak away a man deep and throw one long. And if you're a Thornton fan, you're saying, let's get in there and stop the play.
All righty, 2nd and 10. Landry, but the flag is down, and just as Paul Toth takes a belt from Jay Dow, excuse me. Appears to be on Sanford, some type of procedure call. So that'll make it 2nd and 15. That hurts. That pushes them back to about the 34.
Well, again, it gives momentum to the Thornton Academy defense, who has come alive in this second half. We realize that. We see Jamison now coming. He's coming in for Jeff Thompson.
See Roger LaRue coming out of the game for the Redskins. Steve Hall coming in for Sanford, and Jeff Dupree coming out of the backfield now. Matt Gendron now in as lineman for Sanford. Landry into Toth, and he keeps his feet. Gang tackled after picking up about 3. Time Hugh Connor coming up from the secondary, along with Jay Dow from his defensive end position. Sanford Warhoop going up once again. These Sanford fans want to see a little something. So far, they haven't seen much from their offensive squad this second half.
Well, they have been a little disappointed. Their opening week, they really took a shellacking at the hands of the Bangor Rams, which is really nothing to be embarrassed about. That's one of the top clubs in the state. And they turn around and they play an away game with Lewiston, and they defeat them. So now they're home here, and they really want to put on an impressive show for their home team. There's a lot of spirit in the Sanford community.
Officials time out. There's a Thornton player, I believe, on the far end of the field. We cannot make out his number from here. He's getting some attention. We'd like to thank our in-game sponsors, Shaw's Legal Services of Maine, Crapo Motors, Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant, and Auto World, located on Route 1 in Saco. See Bob Cody out there. Troy Fowler coming into the game for Sanford. Hugh Connor shaking up, going off on his own power. We'll probably see you back in. Looks all right. Just probably got his bell rung a little bit.
Just a little shaken up. Important play here for both squads. Sanford wants to hold on to the ball with 6 minutes to go in the game. Thornton wants to get it back.
3rd and about 1. Landry going to roll to his left, and he's got Bernia coming up. And Bernia stops him short for a loss. So it'll be a 4th down play. You got to question that call, going with the roll to the left to try and almost a bootleg on 3rd and short.
Well, I think what they were trying to do was probably try to free one of the receivers down deep. Knowing that Thornton was sending their linebackers and have been blitzing a lot, they tried to move the pocket out, but Al Stone and Rick Redmond made strong pursuit. Didn't give Landry a chance to really set himself up, and Bernia came up and made the play.
Good snap to Howell. He gets a high boot away. Fair catch called for by Connor. Moves right back into the game to take that punt. So again, defense has struggled here late in the game. Exchanging punts, 5:18 remaining Sanford on top, 14-13. We're coming down to the nitty-gritty. An exciting game, just as everyone had predicted, Dan.
Well, I don't know if anybody else is out there, but I'm sure that we're on the edge of our seats in here. This has been one of the most action-packed games we've seen all year. Our first couple of games were pretty much one-sided, well-developed games. Now we've got a game that can go either way. Thornton's offense has been able to move the second half. Now they've only got 5 minutes left to put a score up on the board, but we know that they have an experienced, a good, strong leg in Mark Cole. If they're close enough, they might try a field goal.
Sanford crowd cheering for defense. Roberge looking to pass, and he's got it long, and just in and out of the hands of Hugh Connor. Both Connor and Bernier converging on the ball. It was hard to see exactly who the ball was intended for, and Connor being razzed by John Beanat, and the flag goes down. And they are going to call unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike on number 14 for Sanford, Johnny Beanat. Too bad. He made a nice play on that. I don't understand what the mouthing was all about.
He was razzing him.
Yeah, there's no need for that. You razz them in the form of by making a good play. That's how you get your opposition upset at you. You make the good play. Let him get upset. I don't understand why, especially where he was the one who made such a nice play. There's no need to start getting riled up and start mouthing off. It's going to cost him right here because it's going to give Thornton possession of the ball closer to the 50, probably inside Sanford's territory.
And another first down. That's what it is in Sanford territory. That could be a very key play. And what about that arm of Brian Roberge? What a beautiful spiral.
Beautiful. I wonder if he could be coming in playing quarterback after some length of time, because that was one very pretty throw, and it was on the mark, technically, because it was on the outstretched hands of Huey Connor and David Bernier.
Yeah, Bernier and Connor both converging on that ball. 1st and 10 from the Sanford 46. Fakes to whoa, and yes, deflected. Jamison picks it up, and a saving tackle by Dan Ford. Oh, when it rains, it pours. He picks up about 18 on that play for another first down. And sometimes it takes something like that penalty to spark a club, and now Thornton is on a roll.
We saw the first half hour where big plays came into effect. Jeff Dupree runs 75 yards, scores a touchdown for Sanford. Scott Sabinski intercepts the pass, and the first series of downs for Sanford scores a touchdown. Now we see a tip by a Sanford defender and goes into the hands of the Golden Trojans.
1st and 10 from the 25. Inside handoff, picking up a couple for Gordon. 4:40 and counting. Thornton is trailing by 1, and they'd like to put it in this time. And we have a Sanford injury. Steve Hall holding his left leg. That'll give Chuck Cody a chance to go over the sideline for a little strategy session with Coach Cody. And very important possession here, be 2nd and 7. And they'll bring Hall out. And we see Matt Gendron checking into the game. Steve Hall getting a nice hand here. He's played a heck of a game.
He sure has, Hal. Like we mentioned last week, he was named co-player of the week for that Lewiston game. Coach Cody was concerned about his play, and anytime you see an opposing coach say that he's concerned about one of the other team's players, you know he has a lot of respect for that ball player.
2nd and 7 from the Sanford 23. Gordon in motion to the left. The handoff is inside to Jamison, who picks up a couple more. So that'll set up a 3rd and about 4. Thornton now inside the 20, and that clock continues to run. We're close to the 4-minute mark. And Steve Hall back in the ball game. So it wasn't a serious injury, the defensive captain. Important 3rd down situation here, Dan.
Well, there's been a lot of hitting going on out there, Al. I think probably that's what took Hall out of the game, and that's why he's back in, though. Like you say, it's an important 3rd down here. I don't think we'll see Thornton give the ball up.
Penalty down. Bernier, completion. That'll be enough for the first down, but we'll wait for the flag. It was an early flag, and it'll be against Thornton Academy. And that hurts. After the completion to Bernier, a penalty, they'll have to play it over, and it'll be 3rd, and instead of 3rd and 4, it'll be 3rd and 9. That makes a whale of a difference. Motion call against the Trojans. That hurt.
That's about the 4th procedure call they've had against them, too, Al, at this point. And this is probably the most important one where it's going to come back and hurt you. Anytime a coach doesn't want to see penalties or turnovers, which we really haven't seen any turnovers today, so to speak. But the penalties, this is the one that Thornton didn't want to commit, and this is the time that they happen to do it.
Roberge replaces Peterson in the backfield. 3rd and 10 from the Sanford 25. And they go to Roberge, and no room at all. Fine open field tackle by Dan Ford, reading that one all the way. So they'll have a 4th down situation here. It'll be 4th and 10. And they're bringing in Mark Cole.
Yeah, they're going for the field goal. The kid's got a strong leg. They think he can do it.
Trying to redeem himself after missing that last extra point. This will be about a 41-yard attempt with the 10 yards of the end zone. And Sanford calls a timeout. Coach Conley, watching the pros, wants to give Mark Cole a little more time to think about it.
Yeah, put the little pressure on Mark Cole, who seems to be lining up. Looked like he's getting ready to set to kick that soccer style. I'm not sure if that's going to have any effect on the way he has been kicking, because he was pretty much a straightaway kicker most of the year. Now he's coming in. Maybe the deep ones he might be tempted to use soccer style, and the short ones stay straight away.
Maybe get a little more meat behind it, and then you can never put it past Thornton to maybe fake it, because you've got guys like you, Connor, and David Jamison in that backfield, so don't put that past Bob Cody either with 2:47 remaining.
It also looks like you have Chuck Cody, the holder, who is your natural quarterback, who does have the instinct for the ball, who can throw it and can run it. So we don't know what to expect at this point.
You never can tell. So it'll be a 41-yard attempt. High snap, put it down, and it's going to be short. Going to be short. Had it on the mark, but a little bit out of his range. So Sanford defense holds with 2:42 remaining. And that psychs up the Sanford squad. And again, we have to go back to that motion call, which negated the first down pass to Bernier.
That's the play right there. Had there been no penalty, we would have had the first down for Thornton inside the 10-yard line. Now, with the penalty that come up, created a different situation where you had to call different types of plays. Thornton couldn't get their first down. They elected to try for the 3 points. Now it's up to the defense.
And we see Cole staying in on the defense as a linebacker. Landry with the handoff to Jeff Dupree for a couple, and Sanford, I'm sure, will be content to run out some time and keep possession of this football. 2:27 and counting. You can be sure that the Thornton defense going to be going for the ball now.
Most definitely, Al. Especially in this situation where time's running out, they're going to be looking to strip Sanford and create the turnover.
Troy Fowler and Paul Toth in now for the Redskins. Fowler splits to the right. Landry pitching to Toth, and he is nailed. Jay Dye coming over from the left defensive end. Rick Redmond getting up from this pile as well. And Coach Bob Cody wanting to stop the clock with 1:52 remaining. It'll be a 3rd down situation for the Redskins, 3rd and about 11.
Interesting situation. Also, Al, if you're a Thornton Academy fan out there, you have to realize, you're saying to yourself, well, it's 3rd down, we hold them, we get the ball back. That's what Bob Cody's feeling right here. He had to call a timeout. Go out and talk to the troops and tell them, say, hey, listen, you guys, now's the time to stop them. Our backs are to the wall. There's no more next quarter. We'll get them next time. If they give up a first down in this series of play, they might as well just forget it, because Sanford will run the timeout. Thornton won't be allowed to use will use their timeouts, and then Sanford will run the clock. If you're coming from Sanford's point of view, you've got to look for them to try to get the first down. If not, maybe a successful a deep punt will take Thornton out of a dangerous area and give them a lot of space to cover within a short period of time.
Very important play, as we've been saying this whole game. It's given us all the excitement we've expected from Cobb Stadium. 1:52 remaining in the game. Sanford on top, 14-13 with a ball on their own 19-yard line, third and about 11. They have to make it to about the 30. And we have the double wing formation. And up the middle, they're content to just let the time run on the clock and punt it away. Jeff Dupree just going up the middle. The clock is winding down, 1:34 and counting. UConn are dropping deep for the Trojans.
Looks like they're going for the block out. 10-man front.
They've got 10 men up front with 1:24 and counting. They've been close a couple times today. Let's see if they can get there. And they are sending him. Short kick, high, fielded by Connor. And he picks up a few, wants to get to the sideline to stop the clock. Excellent field position for the Trojans. They'll have it about the 33-yard line of Sanford, so don't go away yet. 1:10 remaining in this game. Thornton trailing by 1. We'll be back with more action right after this commercial message.
The Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant, located on Route 1 in Saco, welcomes you to stop in for a meal. Whether it's a quick pizza or a full-course meal, each order is prepared with the finest ingredients, and the atmosphere is great for the whole family. The Kerryman menu is varied to include everything from soups and sandwiches to spaghetti, and all at reasonable prices. So whether you're looking for a quick lunch or a night out with family and friends, check out the Kerryman Family Restaurant. And remember the upstairs pub where meals are served to groups large and small. You're bound to run into a friend after work at the Kerryman Pub or in the evening where they have the finest entertainment in the area. That's the Kerryman Pub and Family Restaurant, bit of the Emerald Isle, located on Route 1 in Saco.
Most people think that lawyers talk too much and cost too much. At Legal Services in Maine, we're different. We designed our law practice for those who can't afford a high-priced law firm, yet still need a good, caring legal representative. Legal Services in Maine is a private law firm ready to advise you at a very reasonable cost. We can handle an uncontested divorce for as little as $200. So whether you've been sued, hurt in an accident, or simply need advice, Legal Services in Maine can help. We care, and we will fight for you.
10 from Sanford, 34-yard line. Gordon in motion. Roberge off the outside, picks up a block, but good pursuit that time, preventing him from making the sideline. Paul Toth coming up from the secondary. 43 seconds remaining. Thornton calls a time. Well, officials call a timeout because the Sanford man down on the field. And good pickup, about 5 that time by Roberge, Dan. They're getting the outside game, but you got to expect them to put it up in the air with only 43 seconds remaining.
Well, you got to look for them to mix it up at the same time, too. If you start going to the air right away, Sanford will definitely be keen on the deep play. If you hold them, if you get a chance to run a few either draws or like we see Roberge going off tackle there, then it holds the linebackers and it makes them make a commitment where the next play they fake the handoff, the linebackers have got to hold their ground and then opens up the deep spot.
All righty, a Sanford man down, Dan Ford. We see Rob Malcolm checking in for the Redskins. We have a officials timeout on the field with Sanford on top, 14-13. Ford getting a good hand as he comes off the field. And we expect to see him back in the game, shaking it off. Also checking in Mike Grondin for the Redskins. So they're putting a little weight up there now.
Yeah, and they're pulling out Dwayne Rancourt, who's had an excellent game. It looks like they're putting a little quickness in there at the same time. They realize that Thornton is going to have to go to the air in order to accomplish something. Let's not forget, though, that even though that last field goal attempt came up maybe 15 yards short, they get the ball in a little bit closer. They're going to give it another shot. There's no question.
That's it. It was right on the mark, but a little out of Mark Cole's range. That was a 41-yard attempt, so if they can get it in within the 20-25, he should be close to within range. But, of course, 6 points would make it a lot easier for the Trojans. 2nd and 5 from the 30. The pitch is to Roberge, going to the right, and he is down. No, they blew the whistle dead. Brian Wheeler coming up untouched from his linebacking position.
Yeah, there seems to be a little dispute as far as the clock's running, and they had stopped the clock. Brian Wheeler, with his first start last week, had 3 quarterbacks sacked. Now he comes through with the biggest play of the game so far.
20 seconds and counting. And Jamison with the ball, trying to get out of bounds, does. Oh, it's going to be close. They're at about the 27-yard line. They could get another quick one away, but then you got to be thinking about Mark Cole.
How much time is he going to have to work with, and is he going to be close enough? The thing is, now you're Thornton Academy. What do you call for an offensive play? You've got to keep it towards the sidelines in order to be able to stop the clock. This game's getting us all worked up here, Al.
And we've totally forgotten about it, but they got to get a first down here to keep the ball. It's 4th and about 5.
So you keep it to the outside. Keep the play out of bounds, like where David Jamison went that play.
But they can't lose the ball on this possession. Cody looking for the open man, Connor.
Caught it.
But doesn't get out of bounds. It's enough for the first down, 4 seconds. And the clock is stopped as they got to move the markers. And Mark Cole, they're going to get the snap off in time. Cole is going to be trying a 37-yarder.
Snap it.
1 second, he gets it away, and it is good.
It's good. He's
Thornton Academy wins this game, 17-13, with a 1 second remaining. A 37-yard field goal by Mark Cole, who missed one earlier, 41-yard attempt. And the Thornton fans are going wild, and Sanford saying, what happened? The clock was stopped with 4 seconds left because Thornton picked up the first down. They set it up, they snapped the ball, and Cole got it away with just 1 second left. Oh, damn, talk about an exciting game.
Unbelievable, Al. What started out to be kind of a slow game and a head-to-head, both teams feeling each other out, turned out to be exactly the kind of game that we thought it was going to be. A close game, a defensive battle that was strong right to the end. The Golden Trojans pulled it out. Mark Cole, you got to give him credit. The kid's only a junior. You know, you're talking about a 17-year-old kid who his last time out, no more than 45 seconds ago, attempted a 40-yard kick, came up short. He had to think his confidence was a little bit shattered, but he came right back and he blasted a 37-yarder with no time left. That's
what a clutch kick. You can't say anything more. Squibber at that. You could tell Mark didn't have the complete time. Yeah, the old knuckleball, but it had the distance and had the range. 16-14. We'll get it. We'll get it straight.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Thought it was a tie game at first, but Thornton was trailing by 1 point.
Due to the extra point that Mark Cole had missed himself earlier in the game. So
he comes back to redeem himself.
Scapegoat to hero.
16-14, Thornton victory today. And we'll be back with the post-game show right after these commercial messages.